All right, Panther fans, how is everybody doing on this fine, hot, humid, brutal summer Monday morning? However, when the calendar hits August, we can now say the Panthers play hockey next month. Not regular season games, but the Panthers will be on the ice playing hockey next month. So, in keeping with the theme here of doing the player grades from last season, I figured, well, last video I did was that video going over the Kachuk trade, and since that was all triggered by my propensity to make videos about not wanting to trade Anton Lundell, I figured let's grade Anton Lundell. So, well, y'all know I'm a fan of Anton Lundell. So you already know his grade's going to be an A triple plus. It's not. Don't worry. I'll be fair. Okay. He's only got the 3 years to go by here. So there's that. Now, um, first season, let's just go through all 3 seasons because it's the only first season right out the box, 65 games, 18 goals, 26 assists, 44 points, and a plus 33. For those who do not remember, that was the President's Trophy season where we probably averaged about 8 goals a game, and he benefited from that. His second year, 73 games played, 12 goals, 21 assists, 33 points. It was a plus 1. And last season, the year we won the Cup, I believe that's 78 games, 13 goals, 22 assists, 35 points, and a plus minus of 19. So pretty much, give or take, especially the last 2 seasons, very similar statistics. Now, what's interesting I find over here is this year his shot percentage of 7.8, the year before 7.9. The year he had 18 goals, his shot percentage was 14.4. So almost double. The other comparison you can make is the 2 seasons with Maurice. He's had 46 and 43 penalty minutes. His first year only had 18. So as we know, he has each year upped his aggressiveness and his willingness to engage and lay hits and everything like that. Now, as a whole, as a team, what you can look at, okay, first off, the dude is still only 22. He's 6'1", 190. He's still got some filling out to do, but he's turning into a bigger, he's putting muscle on. We'll put it that way. Every season the dude has been on the team, we've made the playoffs, including 2 out of the 3 that we have made it to the Stanley Cup, and we won the Cup. So, we talked about this for years, about before Lundell came here, about how we were constantly having to remake, especially that 3rd and 4th line, and the top 2 lines were just averaging 24, 25 minutes a night. They were just getting gassed. And you insert Lundell in that 3C position, and every year, what's interesting is his time on ice has not really changed. 15:44, 16:22, 15:23. I would be interested. I would have to go back and see what the time on ice was for the 3rd line before he came in. But the point is sometimes it's not so much how many minutes you play, but what competition you're able to go against. So with Lundell and his line mates, right? I think it was with Reinhart and Marchment the first year. That's a hell of a 3rd line. The point is those guys can take some of the minutes against some of the top lines of the other teams, so you're not completely burning out your top 2 lines. Now, in terms of postseason, let's see. The first year he had 9 games, 1 goal. The second season, 21 games, 2 goals and 8 assists for 10 points. And this year, 24 games, 3 goals, 14 assists for 17 points. He was a plus 8 in the playoffs. Now, his shot percentage in the playoffs is all over the place. Year 1, 25%, but he only had 4 shots. The other 2 seasons, last year was not, or the year before, his shot percentage was only 4.7. This year was a lot better at 10.3. Now, in terms of face-off percentage, because obviously that's a big part of him being a center, his face-off percentage has gone from 44.7, 46.5 to this year his face-off percentage was 54.9. That, ladies and gentlemen, is just a magnificent, massive jump for a center at his age. Okay? That puts him in line to possibly be talking about where we are with Barkov, where at some point in his career, maybe he could even get up to 60%. A 22-year-old at 54.9, that's really, really good, and that's really important. Now, in the playoffs, his face-off percentage was 53 the first year, but again, only the 9 games. Then it went to 46 in year 2. And this year, his face-off percentage in the playoffs against top competition every night was 52.3. So for a 22-year-old to be able to pull those kind of stats, it's no wonder he got the contract that he did. So one thing I want to talk about before we give him his grade, is found this interesting. I got thinking about, because you know that the biggest thing about Lundell is obviously his defense. Now, he may not eventually get to the offensive output of Barkov. Now, Barkov is not a 60, 50 goal guy. He hasn't even hit 40 yet. He's a 30-ish goal guy. Could Lundell get there? I think if you look at these numbers, I think you could make a case where certainly he could be a 22 to 25 goal guy. Could he get 30? Maybe. Is there more meat on the tree offensively? Yes. But he focuses on defense, which got me to thinking, I was wondering, did he get any Selke votes? And I knew that the answer was no, but I wanted to look and compare him to the other players that might have got Selke votes. So as we know, Barkov won the Selke. Now, this all went down during the middle of the playoffs, and I was dealing with Fluffy, so there's a lot of things that I didn't register in my brain. So Barkov won, obviously. But Sam Reinhart placed 4th. And what I found interesting is that Reinhart actually had the second most first place votes. He had 12 first place, 18 second place, and 27 third place votes. So he actually went Barkov, Stahl, Matthews, Reinhart, Kopitar, but Stahl only had 4 first place votes. Matthews had 2. Hintz had 2. And let's see, Crosby had 2. Sebastian Aho at 1. Jason Robertson had 1. JT Miller had 1. Trocheck had 1. Marner had 1. Carlson had 1. That's it for first place votes. And then there was Reinhart with 12. So then I went all the way to the bottom. I said, all right, would Lundell ever get Selke votes? Now I'm looking at the bottom of this list. Now Nathan McKinnon got 1 fifth place vote. Lawton, Tyson Forrester, Kevin Fiala, Jesper Bratt, Ryan O'Reilly got 2. Mika Zibanejad got a 4th place vote. Connor McDavid got 1 fourth place vote. Martiner, Kerfoot, Hagel, Dowd all got 4th place votes. And then you see like Pavel Vacha got 1 third place. Marchand got 1 third place. So would there be a time when you might see Lundell, maybe they start thinking of him as one of the top defensive forwards in the game, and he starts, I'm not saying he's going to win a Selke, because with Barkov and some of those other guys, but I know they call him Baby Barkov and all of that. He doesn't have the same height. But in terms of his career arc, I just love where it's going, and I love that we locked him up, because having him on the ice is just all sorts of insurance. If Barkov goes down for any length of time, you put Lundell up there, and he's not Barkov, but he can hold his ground. He's very good defensively. He's excellent defensively, and you're going to be okay. if Bennett goes down. We've seen that. You put Lundell in there. Different player. It does change the dynamic of that line. But again, he's going to win you draws. He's not going to hurt you defensively. So having a guy like Lundell in that third spot that you can move wherever you need to move him, okay, that's a big benefit. And if you ever even got to the point where you needed him at wing because you had injuries, right? You know, if you had to put Luster-Reinen at 3C, we've got a good combination there. So, what do I think about his grade? Well, let's see. Let me think about this. I don't want to just give him an A off the top of my head. It's hard to give a 22-year-old with a 54.9, a 55% face-off percentage. It's hard to not give him an A. It's hard. 13 goals, 22 assists, plus 19, the 46 penalty minutes. I mean, you'd like to see a little bit more offensive production, right? So A minus, B plus, A minus, B plus, right? Somewhere in there. I'll let you pick. Since I'm the fanboy, I'll go A minus. I'll go B plus. I'll go B plus because I think he can still play better defensively. I think that there's a little bit more offense there. And some of those penalty minutes, I do remember more than 2 or 3 times thinking that was a stupid penalty. He's not quite Frank Vatrano in the stupid penalty department, but he does have a little bit of catching up to go before he reaches the Barkov level of like the dude never takes penalties. That is definitely, I mean, I know Barkov has had seasons where I don't even know if he's had 10 penalty minutes a couple of times. That might be a bit low, but you get the point. So we'll give him a B plus. In terms of has he peaked? Obviously not. All right, we still got 3-4 years before you even start thinking about he's peaked. So what would his personal goal be? I know that was something that I was thinking about before. You don't want any of this to come at the expense of defense. Defense first, especially at that third line center position. If you're just picking numbers off a hat, I would think 20 goals. He's already had 18. He's had 18, 12, and 13. Certainly 20 would be the next step. What's his most points? His most points have been 44 in his first year. So let's start talking about maybe getting to 50 or even 60 points. Okay, let's start thinking that way. If you can't get those penalty minutes down so much, let's lessen, some of the stupid penalties. It's not a bad problem, but it's an occasional thing. Every couple of weeks, like that was stupid, Lundell. And face-off percentage, I mean, basically 55% at 22 years old is, just keep getting better. I mean, 2 years ago, he was 46.5. This was 54.9. So that is like a 7-8% increase. He's not going to get that again. I mean, he's not going to suddenly get like 62%. I think face-off wise is at the very least, stay where you are. 50, get that sucker to maybe 56, 57. But there's only so much room at his age. You're going to get improvement there. Shot percentage, okay? He pretty much has the same number of shots per game in all 3 of his seasons. You'd like to see that percentage get closer to 10, 9, 10. I know that doesn't sound like a huge jump, but, if you get closer to 9, 10, then 11, 12, and you kind of settle in there in that 10, 11, zone, that would probably get him to that 20 goals. Other than that, just keep putting on weight, kid. Stay in the gym. Just keep putting on that weight, getting stronger, modeling your game after Barkov, and at some point you'll get that A plus. All right. That was it for Anton Lundell. See, short and sweet. I'm not gonna sit here for a half hour and opine. It's too hot. You guys want to go swimming or something like that. and I got a house and stuff to pack up. Appreciate all of the support, and I will see you again real soon.